Welcome back everyone. This is probably my 20th iPhone 12 video that I've done, but specifically I want to talk about a phone that really nobody's really talking about that much compared to all the other iPhones. I think more people are talking about the 12 and the 12 Pro and even the 12 Pro Max. The iPhone 12 mini on the other hand is a device that honestly when I was doing all those renders and before me a ton of other people who did way better renders than me were making all those rumors and stuff and saying the iPhone 12 mini was going to be coming out, and even before that when those iPhone SE 2 rumors came out and I was doing all those renders about it, a lot of people wanted to see that smaller iPhone in that smaller form factor with a bigger screen and with a notch, and Apple actually ended up making it, and it's smaller than an iPhone SE 2, aka smaller than an iPhone 8, and that is such a huge asset for this type of phone. I mean, a lot of people are out there, wanting to pick this thing up, and honestly, I have to look at another side of this. I mean, honestly, it's very easy to say the good things, and I will make a video talking about the, highlights and positives of it, but there are two things that make the iPhone 12 mini, in my opinion, kind of a weird device. I don't think it's a bad device or anything like that. I think it's a very good phone. But as I've said before with a lot of other phones out in the market, when you have a phone like this in this specific price range and kind of being that first phone and it's a league a little bit, it's very interesting to see how all the other phones in that same spectrum kind of change with it. And let me explain that first of all. So the very first thing that is kind of weirding me out about the iPhone 12 mini is that price tag. So not even considering the fact that it's $30 more expensive to pick up that, SIM-free model. So think about it like this. The iPhone 12 mini is technically a smaller model of the iPhone 12. Apple has pretty much stated that everything the iPhone 12 mini can do, the iPhone 12 can do. It's just in a smaller form factor. And what do you get in that smaller form factor? Well, you're getting a smaller display, a smaller body, a smaller battery life, which I'll get into in a second. You're just getting a smaller device. And, it's a less parts. People kind of think if it's a smaller, it's not as, premium or something as a bigger device. But keep that $699 price tag in your head. Let's go ahead and rewind back to last year. We had that 6.1 inch iPhone 11, and even before that, we had that iPhone XR. Keeping your head on the iPhone 11, it was a 6.1 inch display, a very big phone, tremendous battery life, great performance. It pretty much had the exact same chipsets, exact same performance, and on top of that, it had better performance for some reason than the iPhone 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max, which costed way more than that specific phone. That iPhone 11 was also $699, but the iPhone 12 mini is not the successor to the iPhone 11. I think a lot of people are thinking that, and they're kind of, scraping that across the board and saying the iPhone 11 and iPhone 12 mini, they're the same price. That is not the case. They are not the same phone. The iPhone 11, the successor to that device, is the iPhone 12. It kind of makes sense when you say it. And that phone costs $799. So Apple yet again has increased the price tag $100. And honestly, it's over $100. It's $130 because for that SIM unlocked model, you have to pay $30 for it. So Apple has technically increased the price over $100 going from an iPhone 11 to an iPhone 12, but they hit it because the iPhone 12 mini is that $699 price tag. So again, next year, maybe they'll keep the mini lineup, maybe they won't, but regardless, iPhone prices have gone up yet again, and it's not the iPhone 12 mini's fault. That's why I'm not saying the iPhone 12 mini is a horrible phone, but it's kind of a weird thing that it's kind of being overshadowed because of the iPhone 12 mini's price tag. So that is the very first thing I wanted to say. Hopefully that does make sense to you guys. But the second thing that honestly really weirded me out, and it's not really even being talked about, and the fact that it's not being talked about is because Apple didn't even mention in the keynote, they didn't even mention battery life on any of the devices, but specifically on this iPhone 12 mini. Now here's the most important thing to keep in mind about this device. When you have a phone that is the same size as the iPhone 12 mini, you already know that, they have to compromise on something. If you think about it, the iPhone SE 2 that came out, one of its biggest problems that I talked about, that everyone has talked about, and that I revisited on my, 6 months later review, was the battery life. That phone really didn't have that great of battery life, if I'm being honest. It was a great phone for the most part for $399. It hit up a lot of other categories for sure, but that battery life was not one of my favorite things about that phone. There were a lot of other things, like I said, the performance, the speed and everything, but that battery life just was not that great of a battery life compared to all the other phones out there. And what's looking like to be the case is that the iPhone 12 mini is going to have the worst battery life on all the iPhones that have came out this year. And on top of that, it's going to have a worse battery life than the phones that came out the year before that too, considering the iPhone 11, the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. Now, the iPhone SE 2's battery life estimated gets you about 13 hours of, video playback or whatever it is on Apple's website. The iPhone 12 mini in comparison can do 15 hours. So I guess it's, in a positive way, it's going to be better battery life than the iPhone SE 2, but the iPhone 12 mini is not going to have as good battery life compared to even last year's iPhone 11, which costs the same price as this device. So that's why I'm saying it's just kind of like a weird device overall. You're really paying for that form factor, but you're really not getting anything from it. You're not getting a better battery life. You're getting a better performing device, better cameras and everything like that. But as I've stated before, and a lot of people may say, well, the iPhone 12 mini, it's first in its league. There's not a lot of other phones in its price range, whatever. You look back at a phone like the iPhone SE that came out in 2016, Apple did a really good job on that battery life. Even look back at a phone like the iPhone 10, Apple did pretty decent with that battery life. It wasn't horrible. Even a phone like my iPhone 11 Pro, this battery life is pretty good. And honestly, to go down to this size, there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons. You can maintain a lot of those type of things, in my opinion. You can maintain the performance, you can maintain the camera, you can maintain a great screen quality, but the battery life, is really going to be proponent to how big that battery life is or how big that battery size is. So with a device like the iPhone 12 mini, if you're somebody who really needs, a tremendous battery life, you're probably going to get pretty average battery life from a device like the iPhone 12 mini compared to something like an iPhone 12. It is said that that phone is going to have, much better battery life. Again, once we get the full milliamp hours, we can go and kind of test it further. But even based on Apple's website, that's kind of what seems to be the case. And even just using logic, it kind of makes sense, a smaller body, there's only so much you can do with it. Now, on the contrary to that, we have seen in some cases where, Apple has cut the corners in some areas but increased battery life on a smaller body. We look at those 12-inch MacBooks. Those MacBooks had a really, really good battery life, but it was at the cost of the performance. They weren't really that good of performing MacBooks at all. They could last a while on battery life, but, they wouldn't be able to, compete with something like a MacBook Pro or anything like that, even in the same price range or even like a couple $100 more expensive or cheaper. Same thing with the MacBook Airs. They have pretty good battery life, I think better than the Pros, but they just can't perform as heavy as the Pros. With the iPhone 12 mini, you're getting that same performance as Apple has stated. It's the same phone as the iPhone 12, but you're just getting a smaller form factor, meaning you have to have a smaller battery in order for them to fit the same exact things inside of that phone. So that's kind of where I'm going to leave it at. Again, I don't think the iPhone 12 mini is a horrible phone. I think it's weird in just those two areas. There may be more if I can think about it, but as of right now, that's pretty much it. Again, I think this video, I don't know how people are going to take it. Again, I'm going to buy the iPhone 12 mini anyway. I'm probably going to enjoy aspects of it, but I don't plan on using it as my main device, mainly because of the battery life, if I'm being honest. But I think the price aspect of it is also something that is very important to note. And, I would love to see, how this phone competes with the more expensive ones and seeing if it's slower, if it's faster, if RAM management is better, how much RAM is in this device compared to the other ones. But I guess we'll wait and see whenever those phones come in. So that's really pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.